Welcome everyone, I'm Pat Mitchell and I have a banger of a video for you guys here today. We are going to be discussing money. Money is something that everybody gravitates and flocks to. That's what they want to hear about, but this is going to be coming from a place of a question. I want to present a question to you all first. Now, I want you to think about it for a sec after I ask it. Okay, what is life-changing money to you? What is life-changing money? Now, what is life-changing money to you? And what is life-changing money? Now, a lot of people have this notion that life-changing money is millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now, granted, of course it is. That is life-changing money. That's lottery ticket shit, though. What is life-changing money to you? Now, I've talked about a freedom tax before in lots of my videos spanning going back almost a decade now on YouTube and other various social media. There's a freedom tax. Now, this is a conversation that I had with myself years ago. And it was a way that I could kind of push and propel myself forward, even though I wasn't making a lot of money day trading. Now, remember, the average day trader, retail day trader makes $120,000 per year. That's their average. So when you see millions of people claiming they're making millions of dollars, they're full of shit. The odds dictate that they are making, if they're legitimate, around 100 grand a year. Now, I have to ask you, is 100 grand per year, would you be taking a pay cut? Or would you be actually making more? Now, there's probably a lot of you watching this that you would be making more or about the same. That seems to be a pretty average amount of money nowadays of what people make, about $120,000 per year. When we are talking about life-changing money, we need to be realistic. Now, if you want to put it in a per day category, for whatever reason, people like to talk about, especially day traders like to talk about how much money they make per day, which is retarded. It's so stupid. If you are always thinking about how much money you make per day, like if I asked you a question, like in your 9-to-5 job, whatever job career path that you're on right now, and you're trying to transition into a day trader, and I asked you the question, how much money do you make? Would you say I make $300 per day? If you said that, do you realize how the look that I would give you? It would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like nobody answers that question that way. So why is there a major disconnect? And day traders seem to think that it's acceptable to answer that question. I make $300 per day. I make $1,000 a day. I make $10,000 per day. Whatever it is, it's stupid. First of all, we need to get a grip on how we look at money and how we perceive money as day traders. Okay. Money is a byproduct of the process being done correctly. That's all it is. When you fall in love with the process, first and foremost, the money will come. If you are only in this to make money, guess what? You're going to fail. It's like anything else. Let's say when you went to university or post-secondary education you went to, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to become a lawyer or a doctor because, man, they make a lot of money. Do you have any idea how many fucking doctors and lawyers are absolutely miserable? Why? Because they have no passion for what they're doing. They don't care. I'm sure you've all walked into a doctor's office and some fat slob is behind in his shitty white coat thinking he's fucking God, and he's preaching to you about your health and your body, and he's like an absolute fucking slob. Yeah, that guy got into it for money. He obviously has no passion for health or helping people. Do you understand what I'm getting at? It's the same thing when we're getting into trading. A lot of people see this as a vehicle of, or a means to get out of whatever financial troubles or stresses that they're in. And we all do it. I get it. But quickly you should realize that that isn't going to work. So let's get back on topic. What is life-changing money? And freedom tax. Freedom tax is something that I talked about with myself. I had a conversation with myself at the beginning. I was, making that $100 a day, like not enough. Now I went from being a contract welder with owning and operating my own welding truck, and I was pipelining and doing facility. I made an obscene amount of money. Now, on average, it was about 120 to 180 grand a year, but there were bonuses some year. You get QC bonus, so no repairs on your welds. You get click bonus. You get all these fucking safety bonuses. You can get checks cut for like 6 weeks worth of work for like 90 grand, which is insane for a blue collar man, right? So there was a lot of money. So when I'm transitioning to be a day trader now, and it's like, man, that's a major pay cut. Well, I'm not working my truck right now. So there's no money coming in from that at all. None. And now I'm making on average about $50 a day, $100 a day. And it's hard on the head. It's a hard transition. You're not immediately going to start making, thousands of dollars per day. And again, I'm talking per day, even though I made that statement before, because that's how everybody sees it. Okay. So there's a freedom tax. And that's kind of what I came up with. And I said to myself, now, if I could sit at home and work 1 hour out of the day, and I can be close to my family and have my entire day to do whatever I want with after, how much is that worth? That's the next question I have for you. How much is it worth for you to be with your family all day long, minus 1 to 2 hours per day, with doing your scans and doing your work in the evenings and in the mornings and then trading? How much is that worth? Because to me, it's almost like you can't even put a price on that. That freedom is something that's very difficult to actually understand until you're there. So what is life-changing money? Is it $50 per day? Now, some of you may say, well, that's definitely not enough to pay my bills. And I get it. And I agree with you. But we need to think of how long you worked for that $50. It's not always going to be $50. So is $50 extra per day life-changing money? Yes, it is. It will change your life because you have your freedom. Now, granted, $50 per day isn't going to be enough. You cannot only make $50 per day, right? But when people are doing averages and they work out on average $50 per day, and I've done videos on this about doing the math, $50 per day average is not like you're making actually $50 per day. And when you work out the math, it's like, I don't know, 30 grand or whatever it is, right? Let me quickly do that. So there's 252 trading days per year times 50. Okay, that actually it's 12,000. It's about 12,600 per year. So a lot of people will look at that and they'll freak out. It's like, well, obviously that's not enough, but that is average. So when you are first starting out and you're making $50 a day average, you're not only going to make that. Would you agree, out of those 252 trading days, you're probably looking at about half of those days, or let's say 100 days, you're going to make double that? I would say that that's a pretty reasonable estimate. Okay. So you're going to make double that. So out of those, we now have 100 days making $100 a day. So that's an extra 10 grand, right? Now, would you agree that there are probably 20 days out of that trading year where you will make 4 times that $50, right? So you'll make $200. You see how that's an extra 4 grand? Now, are you telling me that there aren't at least 3 days per year where you make $1,000 on a trade on the same size? It's an extra 3 grand. So do you see how that $50 can turn into making 40 grand, 50 grand per year? Now that might be a little bit of a stretch. I get that. But what I'm trying to put into perspective for you guys is that it's not just $50 per day. Okay. That's average. There's going to be more, there's going to be less, but your average is 50. And it's a way that we look at it. I think it's also really important to understand that let's bump it up. Let's bump it up to $300 per day, $400 per day. Well, once you start making that where it would replace your daily income, that's life-changing money. And if people only understood how easy it is to actually make 300, 500 bucks a day, 1,000 bucks a day, it's gonna make your stomach turn when you actually do start making that and realizing how easy it is. It is. And I can say that because I've lived that. I've lived through that, where I look back now and I just shake my head at my stupidity for not doing what I needed to do because it was so fucking easy to do. So life-changing money, what does it mean for you? Because life-changing money, even with small sums where people are thinking about life-changing money being millions and millions and millions of dollars, it isn't. It doesn't need to be. Because even making, let's say that average amount, that $120,000, you're making that and you're done by 10:30 a.m. in the morning. And depending on where you are in the world, you can be done a lot earlier, just like me. My mornings, I'm done right now at 8:30 a.m. 8:30 in the morning, I'm done. I have the rest of the day, and I don't need to come back until I do my scans in the evening at about 7 p.m. I have the entire day to do whatever I want. So even if I was only making $120,000 per year, if that's what I was making, I would be so incredibly happy and grateful and thankful because nothing would change for me. I would be living the exact same life. So whether I'm making 100 grand a year or millions a year, nothing changes for me. I could be making an additional $100 million. Let's just say, let's throw some crazy fucking number. I could be making $100 million per year and my life wouldn't change. I would have the same piece of property here in Costa Rica. I would be in the same house. I would be with the same wife. I would have my 4 dogs, my 3 horses, my 40 ducks, 20 chickens, 2 goats. That's what I would have. Nothing changes for me. This is the life that I've always dreamt of. And this is what I want for you guys. But we need to start getting a healthy relationship with money. That's what we need. We need to start looking at money as a means to achieve your freedom. And that's it. It's not to get rich. It's not to buy a bunch of shit. It's just to give you freedom. That's it. We need a healthy relationship and attraction to money. Because when you make it all about money, you're going to fucking fail. So let's not do that anymore. And let's focus up and be professionals and understand what real life-changing money really is. Because it's not that much. To change your life, you do not need that much. And take it from me, because my life changed dramatically at the beginning, even when I was just making enough to pay my bills. It changed my life. And it wasn't always going to stay there because there is a natural progression there. So hopefully this puts you guys, or gives you a little bit of perspective into what life-changing money really is, because it's not what people think. We don't need millions of dollars, guys. That can happen. But if you're coming into trading looking to make millions of dollars, it ain't for most of you, it's not going to happen. It just won't. Like the odds dictate $120,000 per year on average is what the average retail day trader makes that has consistency. Is that life-changing money? I think so. Is it worth it? Trust me, it is. So I want to remind you guys that are still watching, please, there's about 50% of you, 60% of you that are not subscribed. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever or any content or video ideas that are reasonable, I will absolutely do. So leave a comment below and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Adios.